right, everyone, we're ready for chapters 2 and 3 right now. Please excuse any extra noise that you hear. My teenagers are awake, so it might feel a little noisy in the background, but I think you'll be able to hear just fine. I'm going to be posting these to a YouTube channel that I'm creating for our class, and it will have read it alouds that I do, and then I'm trying to link other videos of other great storybooks on there too, so at night kids can listen to other videos before bedtime of other famous storybooks. So chapter 2 is called Sleepyhead. Jack opened his eyes. Glaring hot sunlight flooded into the treehouse. Neat hat, said Annie. She and Jack were both wearing hats. I think they will protect us from the sun, said Jack. He and Annie looked out the window. Teddy looked out too. The treehouse had landed in a scrubby forest filled with droopy plants and dry brown trees. Man, this place needs rain, said Jack. He sat back on his heels and looked at the picture of where they had landed in the Australia book, and he read, Australia's forests go through times of drought. A drought is a long period of time without any rain. The same forest can be flooded by heavy rains at other times of the year. Jack pulled out his notebook and wrote, Drought, no rain. Hey, Jack, said Annie, doesn't it smell like a cookout? Jack sniffed the air. It did smell like a cookout. Jack looked out the window. A wisp of smoke floated in some trees above the distance. Maybe people are camping over there, said Jack. Let's go see, said Annie. Jack put his notebook and the Australia book into his backpack. Put Teddy in there too, said Annie. Jack slipped the little dog into the pack. Then he followed Annie down the ladder. When they stepped onto the ground, the hot wind nearly blew their hats off. The campers must be over there, said Annie. She pointed to smoke in the blue sky. They started walking across the sun-baked clearing. They passed the bushes, scrawny trees. Lizards ran over the dry, cracked ground. Arf, arf, Teddy barked from Jack's pack. Whoa, said Jack. A pair of huge, funny-looking birds walked out from behind a bush. They were taller than Jack's. They had fat bodies, long, skinny legs, and long, skinny necks. Who are you? Annie asked the strange pair. Jack opened his pack and took out the Australia book. He found a picture of the birds. They're emus, he said, and he read aloud. The emu is a large bird that doesn't fly. It can run as fast as 30 miles per hour. Wow, that's fast, said Annie. Arf! Teddy jumped out of Jack's backpack and barked at the strange birds. The emus gave the little dog a haughty look, and then they turned and walked proudly away. Jack wrote in his notebook, Emus, proud birds, don't fly. Look, a live teddy bear, said Annie. Jack looked up. Annie ran to a tree at the edge of the clearing. The live teddy bear was nestled in the fork of the tree. Aw, it's so cute, said Annie. The creature was fast asleep. He had large round ears, a black nose, and a furry body. He had long curved claws. It's a koala bear, said Jack. Hi, Sleepyhead, Annie said to the koala. She patted his soft fur. He opened his big eyes and looked calmly at her. Jack found a koala bear picture in the Australia book, and he read, The koala is actually not a bear at all. It's a marsupial, like a kangaroo. A marsupial mother carries her babies in a stomach pouch. That's neat, said Annie. Jack kept reading. Koalas mostly eat the leaves of gum trees, so cutting down gum trees to clear the land has hurt them. Wildfires are also a threat. Koalas are slow-moving and can't escape the smoke and the flames. Jack pulled out his notebook and wrote, Wildfires are a threat to koalas. What's wrong, Sleepyhead? Annie asked the koala. Don't you feel well? Don't worry, said Jack. Listen to this. And he read more from the book. Koalas, like kangaroos, are active at night and sleep during the day when the sun is hot. The name koala means no drink because koalas rarely drink water. They get moisture from the leaves that they eat. Jack licked his lips. His mouth felt dry. Speaking of water, he said, I'm thirsty. Me too, said Annie. Teddy was panting, as if he was thirsty also. Teddy, let's go find those campers, Jack said, sighing. Maybe they will share their water with us. Jack put Teddy into his backpack. He tucked the book under his arm in case he needed to look something up. They began walking again. Suddenly, there was a loud, harsh cackle. "Yikes," said Annie. "What was that?" said Jack. Chapter 3 is called Bigfoot. The loud cry rang again through the dry air. Teddy barked. Jack and Annie turned around in the clearing. It was hard to tell where the sound was coming from. The terrible cackle came again. "There it is," said Annie. She pointed at a bird in a gum tree. The bird had brown feathers and a large head with a long beak. It stared down at Jack and Annie, and then it let out another cackle. "Weird," said Jack. He found the bird in a book and read, "The kookaburra is the best-known bird of Australia. There's even a popular song about it. The kookaburra is also called the laughing donkey. This is because of the strange sound that it makes that reminds people of a braying donkey." "I know that song," said Annie, and she began singing. Jack wrote in his notebook, "Kookaburra, a big kook." Annie stopped singing. "Hey," she said, "there's another weird thing." "Where?" said Jack. Annie pointed to a big bluish tan of lump lying in a shallow, dusty hole. "Is it alive?" They stepped closer to the big lump. "It looks like it's breathing." The lump was an animal lying on its back, and its paws were crossed over its chest. It had huge feet, long ears, and a face like a deer, a very long tail, and a very fat stomach. Just then, a small head peeked out of the stomach. "Whoa," said Jack. "Oh, wow, it's a kangaroo with her baby in her pouch," said Annie. "Great," said Jack. "Remember, we have to get a gift from a kangaroo." Their voices woke up the kangaroo, and the animal jumped from her shallow bed. She glared at Jack and Annie, and her baby peeked out of her pouch. The mother kangaroo gave an angry stamp of her feet. "We're sorry," said Annie. "We didn't mean to wake you up." The kangaroo eyed Annie curiously, and then took a giant hop toward her. Copying the kangaroo, the Annie hopped toward the big animal. The kangaroo hopped again, so Annie hopped again. The kangaroo and Annie began hopping around each other. They looked as if they were dancing. Jack couldn't believe how graceful the kangaroo was. She seemed to fly through the air and then land as soft as a butterfly. He looked up kangaroo in his book and he read, "The kangaroo is the most famous of marsupials. The female carries the baby, known as a joey, in her pouch. Scientists call the kangaroo a macropod, which means a big foot. And big feet help the kangaroo hop higher than any other animal in the world. With a running leap, a large kangaroo can jump over a school bus." "Forget the hopping contest, Annie," Jack called. "She can out-hop you by a mile." He pulled out his notebook and wrote, "Kangaroo, big foot, can jump over a school bus." The kangaroo began stamping her feet again. "What's wrong?" said Annie. The kangaroo froze. Grrr! Teddy growled from Jack's backpack. Some nearby bushes moved. A moment later, 3 dogs crept silently into the clearing. They were sand-colored and mean-looking. Teddy growled once more. But the dogs crept towards the kangaroo. Suddenly, the mother kangaroo sprang into the air away from the dogs. The dogs chased after her. "Stop, stop," cried Annie. "Leave her alone." The kangaroo jumped, turning mid-air, and landed facing a different direction. She then zigzagged over rocks and bushes. Howling, the wild dogs raced after the kangaroo and her baby. We'll start with Chapter 4 called Joey in just a little while. Keep watching.